Alright, so in this video, I want to show you about the 3 different types of PBN sites. Now, what I'm referring to here is basically the different layouts or types, to say, of PBN sites they can build out. So it isn't just like setting up blogs, which is a private blog network, but it's actually numerous styles and approaches to doing this. Now, you could rename it to something else, but our community officially dubbed it as a private blog network. So even if you set it up as a site that looks like a real business or something, it doesn't really have a different name. We still call it a PBN. So let me just show you what it is, and that was a big hint at what one of them is. So the first thing is the standard blog. Now, what I'm referring to here is what most people associate as a PBN, which is basically where you set up a blog and then you have content and stuff on it, and whenever you want to link to your money site, you create a brand new post and you include a link to the money site. It's very, very simple. It's just a blog. That's how most people are doing their PBNs. I still do this as well, but there is more to it. So let me show you the next one. The next idea is what I call a Wayback Machine clone. I just put Wayback clone here because I don't know, it was shorter. So what you do here, and I'll include links below this video so you can get some tools to do this, you can get some Fiverr gigs and stuff like that. But basically what you do is you go to archive.org or web.archive.org, and you can go there and you can see a copy of what the website used to look like in the past. So if you bought a plumber's website, for example, and it used to be a real plumbing company and stuff like that, you can literally go to the Wayback Machine, look at their website, and then pay someone or use a service to automatically copy all the content, the exact design, the exact layout and everything, and make a complete replica of that website, a complete clone of that website. So you have like a totally legit, real looking website that it's so real that it was real because it used to be used. Now the good thing is that their website expired, that's why you have the domain. So you're not going to get penalized for duplicate content because it isn't duplicate content. Now, the obvious factor here is that you're breaking copyright laws and all that sort of stuff. So use this at your own choice. I'm just giving you the ideas here of what people are doing, and you can make your decision whether or not you would like to do this. But that's basically what that revolves around. Big note here, guys, if you are going to do this, and obviously this is illegal to do, so do not risk it on like huge corporations or stuff like that. Any type of big corporation, big charities, anything that's a really big corporation that could sue you, I'd avoid it at all costs necessary, especially if you could like damage their business. So I usually like to include something to say their website's under construction or something like that, so they don't think we're trying to damage their business or anything like that. But if it's like an old blog or something like that, it's totally perfect. You're not going to hurt anyone in doing so. Okay, the third one is a real business website. And what I mean by this is another way of doing it, which we'll create a video on, explain it in full details later. But basically this approach is making your PBN site look like a real business, where you have like a fake phone number on there, a fake address, services. It looks like a real business's website versus just some crappy little blog that says health and fitness blog, read this post, and it's like really crappy like a PBN normally is. So this is basically where you take it to the next level and make it look like a real business. Now you can even do this with fixed pages and then just sneak the links in somewhere. We'll cover that in a later video. You can actually do that with a Wayback clone as well. It's not a blog, so you need to sneak in a link somewhere. We'll cover how to do that later. So that's definitely an approach, the real business approach, where you make it look like a real business website. It takes a lot more effort to set this up, guys, because you need to actually put some effort in and make it read like a real business's website. Now you can still have your VAs do this, but they need to put a little bit more effort into it than like a generic 500-word article on health and fitness. That is a solid approach. I'm personally setting up a lot of my PBNs like this today. We'll cover more on how to actually do it later. So remember the first point. I want to cycle back to that now. So the first one was a standard blog. So I wanted to cover initially the 3 main things, the 3 main topics, the 3 main site themes, or whatever you want to call this, at the beginning, because that is the main 3 things. But then within this category, as you call it, standard blog, then there's also things within this. So the first type of approach to this is the standard blog approach, which is the main one most people do. So it's basically where you change the topic of the domain that you register to suit your preference. So for example, if you buy a domain about water, then you change it to a domain about furniture. Like, you just change it. Very, very simple to do. It's totally fine to do that. A lot of domains expire all the time, and then a new person that buys it doesn't want to keep the old topic. Totally fine. You can more than happily do that. It works. I've done that numerous times. It works great. But I recommend a slight tweak on that approach and doing it in a way that creates relevance. See, this doesn't hurt whatsoever to do, and it's just a great way of making it look a little bit more legit if anyone wants to actually look at the website. So for example, if you bought the domain thecatowner.com, I made all this up by the way, if you bought the domain thecatowner.com and it used to be like a website all about cats and someone was addicted to cats and stuff, but you wanted the site to be about travel, well, an easy way of doing that is just putting this is a blog about traveling with cats, or a website about traveling with cats, and you can say the owner has a cat, and there you go. It's relevant to being a cat owner, but it's also about travel. So you can make it all about travel, and then just mention that they have a cat, and maybe briefly talk about that as well. So it can be related to both in that sense. Another example, if you had the website laferrari.com, and you wanted it to be about internet marketing, again, it's a very simple one to think of. You just have that you're an internet marketer and your goal is to own a Ferrari one day. So you can talk all about internet marketing and just say that like your goal one day is that you're going to be so successful with this that you have a Ferrari. Bam. Preferred niche, internet marketing, you're hitting that, and then you're also keeping it relevant to the domain so it's not totally weird. Give me some more examples. You got the domain Woo Design, and this used to be a web design agency, and you need it to be about home and garden. Well, this one's again a super simple example. We just say, hey, this is a blog about home design by a home design fanatic. So it's all about home design, and it has the word design in it, and it's related now from design of the old topic or the domain and the topic of home and garden, home design. Super simple. Let's give you a more difficult example, I guess. So this one, if you had the domain thedarkside.com, and it used to be all about Star Wars, like Star Wars information, Star Wars fanatics, all that sort of stuff, and you need it to be about health and fitness. But what you could do is you could talk about the dark side of the health and fitness industry. Like again, you're making it relevant to the domain, so it's not totally weird. Like, well, it's saying the darkside.com, and then you go on it, and it's just talking about health and fitness. It's the dark side of the health and fitness industry. Creating relevancy between the domain and the website makes it look a lot more legit. Okay, so another example here. You got the domain laptopbagsnow.com, which seems like a website that sells laptop bags. Then you could change it to be about fashion by making it a style and fashion blog, which is really, really ugly and has no relevance in there. But to make the relevance, you could sticky a post or two on the top of the blog. So the first two posts that show up, or the first post that shows up, is all about laptop bag fashion and how you used to predominantly focus on that, but now you've evolved or something like that. You just make something up. This is like a really difficult example if you're struggling, because I want to show how difficult it can get. Sometimes it's not easy, sometimes it is. It entirely depends on the domain and the niche. One more example. So if you had the domain socksandunderwear.com, and it used to sell socks and underwear, and you need to turn it into a site about entertainment, so you have a client or an affiliate site in the entertainment niche, then you could talk about keeping entertained in your socks and your underwear, which basically means keeping entertained in your house, like watching TV or in your underwear and stuff, like staying entertained while just sitting in your underwear or socks. You could even play video games, whatever it is you want to do. So just an example there, again, just to show it can be a bit difficult, but if you think about it a little bit, you should be able to come up with a basic niche, basic idea behind creating that relevancy. But obviously, this is just one category that you can go with. Okay, so if you really can't come up with any examples, I've got a couple of things you can say here on the side, so that again, to make it more relevant. So if you can't come up with anything whatsoever, then you could just say, hey, like I'm a really big fan of XYZ, and I want to name my blog after it. Super simple. In fact, if you look at my site name, like lionzeal.com, like what the heck does that mean? Like most people are like, this sounds random. It doesn't have anything to do with internet marketing on it, but yeah, it's still named it that. So you can easily name it something random. It doesn't really matter. That kind of leads into the second example. I just had this domain laying around from an old XYZ site and decided to use it again for this blog. You can put this on your about page or whatever else. Just creating a little story on there so it seems a little bit more legit. So that's the first approach, where you kind of just change the topic of the site, and you can try and build a relevancy in there if you can, but ultimately it doesn't matter. You're just completely changing the topic of what it used to be about. Now, another approach you can go for is cityscaping. And this is basically building a website around a real city, but using semi-fictional content. So this was submitted by a Lionzeal Mastermind reader, and this is an approach he likes to use. So, say you got a domain, springfieldmoms.com, moms, I guess, if you're American. I always say mums because I'm English, obviously. And say you got this domain and you're thinking, yeah, I don't target Springfield, so it's totally a waste of my money. Like, I can't use this or anything like that. So there's another approach you can take to this, and this can kind of be interesting. So there's over 30 cities named Springfield in the US. So if that city is within one of the states that you're trying to target, then you can take that angle, and you can basically, what you want to do is pick one of them, whether they're in a state you want to target or not. What you want to do is go over to a city website, an official city website, and you want to find their website and just pick one. It doesn't matter which city it is, which Springfield it is, in which state. Just pick one. For this example, this is a screenshot of the Massachusetts Springfield's official website, and it has information on there and everything like that. And basically what you want to do is use this as a source for your new website, so you can build it in a similar sort of way to this, whether it's a blog or a fixed page. And what you can do is you can create pages like this. Like, you can have a home page, you can have about page, which is about Springfield's mums, mission statement and stuff. You can have club officers, which make it like an official club, like these websites. If you can see that somewhere, I don't know. And you have like fake names and roles and stock photos for the pictures. You can have Springfield news all about the city, and you could actually have like real news that you can find from like news websites and stuff in that city and add that in there. Or you could just have it in the sidebar and have it like a HTML iframe news thing that comes through, like a feed thing. You can have event calendar, and like the other thing, you can embed this in. This would be a separate page, by the way. You can embed that into the page. You can have a contact page, which is pretty normal stuff. We'll cover this like structure and like this later, but that's the sort of standard pages you'd have. And for posts, again, it's super easy to come up with posts because you got this whole city thing to theme the site around. So you could have like a blog introduction, which is pretty normal stuff. You could post about a city event. You could literally like look up events in that city, and it's like an instant source of inspiration for content. You can do fun facts about the city, like a YouTube video about the city, all this sort of stuff. It makes it like really legit because you've got all these different types of media. You've got pictures from different events, a video about the city, all this sort of stuff. It's very easy to build content around a city when you have like a city related domain. And then when you want to add a link, you can do something like featured business of the month. And this is, I've done exactly this same approach, and you basically make a featured business of the month, and you post an article about how you feature in a certain business. So if you have a business that targets this city within the state that you're targeting, then perfect, and you can do it very easily. You can just like literally write the whole thing as a feature about that business and link to them, and say that they're the featured one and they target Springfield in Massachusetts. We can do standard information posts. So the domain we had was springfieldmoms.com, and we could make a post like this one. This example here, it says 5 tips on losing that holiday weight, and you can do it in a very, very clever way, because you can, if it's within that area, obviously you can do it where you actually specifically mention the gym or whatever, or the fitness center within that area. If you have a business, if your client or your money site or anything is related to the area. If it's not, then you can still sneak in a link in there and have a post relevant to losing weight, and then just specifically mention like gyms and stuff there. So you could link to a weight loss product and talk about using that, and then go into this specific gym, which is great for following that type of workout or whatever it is. Like, just, it's pretty normal stuff, but this theme of a site of making it all around a city is just a really easy way of creating content and stuff, which is a little bit different from like completely changing niche to what you want it to be about, because you're keeping that city relevance in there. Or the next approach which you're going to, which is niche stealing, which is the third type of theme for like a standard PBN blog. And basically this is where you keep the content the exact same as what the previous domain holder had. So going back to the Wayback Machine again, what we do is we look into that again, which is web.archive.org. Again, I'll include the details below this video, how you can go out and check this stuff and how to use it. And basically, if you don't want to like steal the whole website for some reason, maybe you don't want to, then what you can do is you can literally just look at the niche it used to be about and just copy it. So if it used to be a website all about health and fitness, so you can make it a website about health and fitness. And you can take this even further by like copying the content straight from Wayback Machine. But if you're going to do that, you may as well just clone it. But you can just look back and see what it used to be about and then create it exactly the same. This helps especially if it's already in a niche that you want to buy. So you can oftentimes tell that from the domain itself, but you can have a look in the Wayback Machine and basically just steal the niche and keep it exactly as it was. Wayback Machine is one approach, or this approach is basically just create a new blog about the exact same topic. Entirely your choice. This is the final one. It's super basic and a lot of people probably already know this already, but I want to show you each of these different types. So when we get into the actual training and how to set up the sites and stuff, you have these in your mind, you're thinking about them, and you start using them. So I recommend you write down each of these different types. I'll relist them again below this video. So check it out, and I'll see you in the next video.